Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press. Welcome to another edition of our weekly press briefing here at the Rehab Office of the President. Today is Friday, and October 24th. Today is celebrated as United Nations Day. Wherever you are, however you're listening, whether you're in the counties or in the diaspora, we'd like to welcome you to this edition of our weekly press briefing. And the reason why we are at an unusual location, one press briefing ago we were here, so today we had just returned from Margibi County, where His Excellency President Joseph Imam Boakai had gone to join the United Nations in celebration of the United Nations Day. It's been a very busy week, as always, for His Excellency the President. And the President sees his activities in the interest of working for the Liberian people. The President is well active and moving and pushing forward the country's agenda, the agenda for which he was elected for. The President Week, as I mentioned, has been really busy with the receipt of ambassadors and other members of the diplomatic community who had come to present their letters of credence. As you know, letters of credence presentations are presentations that the President will receive if a new ambassador is appointed by the country and accredited near Monrovia, where they will come to the country and present their credence. And for this week, His Excellency received in audience the ambassador designate of the Kingdom of Spain, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, the Republic of Philippines, the Republic of Ghana, and the Republic of Mali first. And the following day, the President also received in audience two ambassadors, the ambassador designate of the Commonwealth of Australia and the United Mexican State. And those letter presentations were all presented to His Excellency at the Executive Mansion. For the President, this marked an important time of our country where members of the diplomatic community are working and looking forward to seeing, what contribution they can make to Liberia, especially on the diplomatic front. As you know, Liberia is a very important member of the global community, inclusive of the United Nations and other regional bodies. So with the presentation of letters of credence, he believes that this is also a contribution to our growing image globally, and how Liberia is positioning herself to be a major player in the world. Following the presentation of those, the President also designated Honorable Samuel Sifkuya to speak on his behalf at the program marking the launch of the Executive Mansion Communications Internship Program, a program that the President believes will help public communicators, especially those who intend to join his communication team at the Executive Mansion, in informing the public what he's doing and the activities and actions he's taking, and most importantly in gauging the views of the public, the Liberian people, the people he serves on a daily basis. As I mentioned earlier, the President also did visit Margibi today to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. And as you know, the United Nations was established in long ago, 80 years ago, basically, and Liberia being a founding member of the United Nations. And today, the people, the citizens of Margibi, received a President who delivered the keynote message. In that message, the President did again recommit his government's role in calling for a united front for global challenges and global issues, and standing firm with a collective voice of the African community, the Common Africa position, as well as talking about the need of a stronger United Nations and the solidarity that Liberia brings. And Liberia also was, as you all know, elected as a member of the United Nations non-permanent seat in 2026, next year, Liberia will be taking her role or taking her place. So this celebration also marks the recognition of that effort. In fact, Liberia in this program was recognized, was given a certificate by the resident coordinator of the United Nations, representing the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, and the President was excited of that, and the people of Margibi being a part of that. Still in Margibi, the President did tour the DWR where the program was held, the Booker Washington Institute, tour the facility to see the progress that have been made so far with the new administration under the principalship of Madam Nancy Freeman, who heads the institution, and the tour included facilitating or visiting places such as the classrooms, automotive area, the electricity, carpentry section, and the President is well impressed as to the progress so far. Interestingly, the roads within Calcutta that was paved by His Excellency was also looked at, and it was opened up, ribbon was cut for that. And the people, the citizens of Margibi, decided to name the road the JNB Avenue UN Drive. So in honor of the United Nations and His Excellency's work, the team there decided to give that to the President and the United Nations, and that ribbon was cut. Still on the actions and activities of the President also has appointed members of the government. A new appointment includes members of the judiciary. And he's appointed Councillor William G. Kippert, the judge of the traffic court of Banga City, Bong County. Councillor Eric Molu, judge of the dead court, Nofa County. Councillor Daniel D. Dolokelen, judge of the dead court of Bong County. Anthony Colley, judge of criminal court E, Nofa County, and Councillor Rennie O. Moses, judge of criminal court E, Grand Jide counties. And these nominations are expected to go to the Senate for confirmation hearing. As part of the Constitution, these nominations will definitely require confirmation hearing by the Liberian Senate. The President hopes that the Senate will give the nomination, the expedited rule, so that they can be confirmed where necessary to be able to continue the work or go to begin the work in the different jurisdictions, so that the issue of the rule of law and accountability can continue unabated. In additional news, I'm pleased to inform the Liberian people that Liberia has received Mr. Kilman Armando Abrego Garcias on humanitarian and temporary grounds. I therefore announce that the government of Liberia is hereby announcing a decision to receive Mr. Kilman Armando Abrego Gracias on a strictly humanitarian and temporary basis, following a formal request from the government of the United States of America. The decision was reached after extensive consultations with relevant national and international stakeholders, reflecting Liberia's enduring commitment to upholding the principles of human dignity, international solidarity, and compassion in times of distress. Liberia's actions are guided by both international humanitarian norms and its own long-standing tradition of offering refuge to those in need. As one of Africa's oldest republics, Liberia has historically extended protection and goodwill to individuals and communities needing assistance, including the African freedom fighters and democracy advocates who once found safety on the Liberian soil. In this instance, Liberia's decision hereby confirms its role as a responsible member of the international community and a country that remains committed to the humanitarian and international cooperation that anchored in law, due process, and mutual respect among nations. The government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, will continue to engage closely with the United States Department of State to ensure that all assurances and arrangement between the two countries are fully observed. The process will be undertaken in strict coordination with competent Liberian security, immigration, and justice authorities, as well as with international partners to guarantee the highest standards of safety, transparency, and human treatment. The implementation of this decision will adhere to the following safeguards. 1. A comprehensive security screening and vetting by the relevant Liberian authorities prior to and upon arrival. Respect for due process and human rights, including access to appropriate legal and procedural protections in keeping with international obligations. Non-refoulement assurance, ensuring that Mr. Abrego Garcias will not be returned to any country where he may face a substantial risk of persecution, torture, or other serious harm. Coordination with the United Nations and other partners to explore durable and lawful solutions consistent with international law, including potential resettlement of lawful transfer where appropriate. The government of Liberia welcomes the United States acknowledgement of this humanitarian act and notes that this action was undertaken voluntarily and in good faith and solely on humanitarian grounds. The decision underscores the long-standing friendship between Liberia and the United States of America that is built upon shared values of humanity, freedom, and justice. Liberia remains committed to strengthening international partnership and promote lawful, humane, and sustainable approaches to global protection and humanitarian cooperation. Thank you. Finally, I'd like to inform Liberian people that His Excellency will, on Monday, depart Liberia for Paris, Republic of France, for an official state visit. He was invited by His Excellency the President of France, Honorable Emmanuel Macron. The President leaves and will return immediately after his engagement. Thank you all. I will take your questions and please, as usual, state your name, your institution, and the question. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay, so my name is Princess Casino, and I report for the closing argument by the KMT. So, Madam PPS, the issue of rape across the country has been on the increase, and it's non-buildable. And a few days ago, we had the father to the minor that alleged the minister to have raped her. But the father raised a concern that the government have not been doing anything in relation to that. So my question is, what exactly is the government doing when it comes to fighting rape across the country?
So I'll tell you what the government is doing to fight rape. I'm sure you do know the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection have been one of the key institutions that is in charge of issues of gender-based violence, inclusive of rape and other forms of violence against women and girls. And rape as a non-bailable offense, I'm sure you do know the pathways when a crime of such occurs. Who's in charge of providing the needed information and services. As to the specific of the case, I do know that the case is currently with the police, the Liberian National Police, and they're conducting investigation. As to the status of that investigation, I've not been informed as to the status of the investigation, but I do know that the investigation was started. And they've been doing an investigation, but as to what's happening is something that I can follow up and give you more information, and also follow up with the Liberian National Police as to why it's been this snail pace because I do agree with you, issues of gender-based violence being a non-billable offense. In the criminal matter, it has to have that the necessary law be followed, and favors, and the president is very clear on this, favors should not be granted to anyone, irrespective of who you are, what you do, your proximity to the presidency. It's important when a crime is committed, the authority in charge, that is the Liberian National Police, the Ministry of Justice, and all parts of the criminal justice system should be involved, so that the perpetrators are brought to book, and crimes such as rape and other harmful practices against women and girls, and even the rest of the country be brought, because for the president, he views crime as a matter of importance. So it's encouraging all stakeholders who's involved with any matter, not just this situation as you mentioned, but other situations that is relating to crimes and other things, even crimes that were committed before now, that it's made and is then accepted. So in terms of our continued support with the United States, in Liberia also, has been a country that is a home to a lot of individuals who were fearing persecution in their own countries, even during the apartheid era. Even lots of freedom fighters on the continent sought refuge in Liberia, from Kwame Nkrumah to lots of others, who sought refuge, to even Nelson Mandela, and others who were in the struggle for freedom in their different countries. So, even other leaders, I just listened to the other day the wife of the former Namibian president. She was even mentioning Mr. Eko, who also had a Liberian passport. And Liberia prided itself as a country for free slaves, and this is one of the time where Liberia provides, that space, that opportunity for someone fearing prosecution from their own country, and they see Liberia as a safe haven. Liberia will, of course, continue to work with our partners in the international community, United Nations, United States, and others to be that place for people who will seek refuge here.
Madam, thank you very much. I think it's important that you provide this clarity, because I understand, where you're coming from, but I think the clarity is needed, because obviously it's not only going to get misconstrued by media practitioners like us. I can guarantee you that. As we speak currently, there is information, there is on social media, it's trending now that President Boakai has named the road in Kakata after himself. But I was at the event, the county authority named the road after him. So this is where I come from. So I would really appreciate where you to do due diligence, so folks out there do not get this misconstrued.
In fact, I will tell, and that's an important question, Anthony, and I'll tell the Liberian people, President Boakai is someone who really doesn't care about the naming things after himself. And it was actually a surprise for himself, because it was actually at the program that the county authorities said that they named the road after him and in honor of the United Nations. And even the banner and everything was, when they were printed, they did that. So President Boakai did not name the road after him. He wasn't the one who named the road, even planning the program. In fact, the program was planned by the county authority itself. It was just a coincidence that the president happened to be in Margibi for the United Nations Day. And so they invited him to say, since we are all here, let's try to kill two birds with one stone. So the county authority reached out to the team and said that we want him to, officially open the road, and they themselves decided to name the county, they wrote JNB Avenue and United Nations Drive in honor of the 80th anniversary and the selection of Margibi for the celebration. And you also listen to the resident coordinator of the United Nations, that most of the time they've had United Nations Day in Monserrato. In many years ago, they always had the program here and not in the county, but this was a way to decentralize their activities and do other things. So she said it was good that they agreed to come, and they selected a place, the Boko Washington Institute, in honor of someone who also served as a key communicator, educationalist, someone who believed in technical vocational education, and to honor the legacy and memory of Booker T. Washington. That's why they selected the event and venue. So the Mandigi people, being excited of such an honor, they decided that we're going to name this the United Nations Drive in commemoration of the 80th anniversary. So no, President Booker had no part to play in the naming of the street. It was strictly the county that decided that, and as president, it was actually a surprise that he had to come and be a part of that, that thing to, open the road.
Okay, so is just a little clarity on when the president will be returning from France?
The president leaves on Tuesday. The trip is about for a week. Yes, for a week. Any other question?
Yes, I will do it.
Okay, so thank you all so very much, and I wish you all a wonderful Friday. Have a pleasant weekend and good afternoon.
The voice of the presidential press secretary, Kula Fofana. They are closing today's this week's press briefing. Thank you again for following. Till we meet again Monday morning. My name is Vanis Kumar. Have a great evening and a good weekend.